gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, what? Ladies and gentlemen, what? Have you seen a girl so fine? Have you seen a girl so fine? Have you seen a girl so fine? So fine, so fine, so
Ciao Bella. Hi my darlings. Welcome back to Front Row with Audrey Charlie's Milan Fashion Week SS26 recap plus creative director musical chairs. Okay? Milan never misses a chance to flirt with our expectation, and season was no exception. But the real question is, did Milan truly dazzle us, or was it just serving as an elegant déjà vu with a few of extra sequins? I don't know. Milan is always that city where heritage meets drama, where glamour is accepted, but reinvention is demanded. And sometimes the line between theatrical genius and recycled spectacle is thinner than a stiletto heel on a cobblestone. My God, it can be shady. Darling, buckle up, because tonight I'm taking you through Gucci's cinematic curveball, Bottega's whisper that echoes, Versace's unapologetic sparkle, and because I know you secretly on the tea. The creative director musical chairs that color every look, every headline, and every whisper in the audience. Let's start with Gucci. Innovation through cinema. Because if Milan is an opera, Gucci decided to screen the overture in a cinema. A red carpet, a film premiere, and suddenly fashion wasn't walking. It was like flickering frame and edited like a manifesto on celluloid. Demna's bold Gucci debut was sharp. It was kind of provocative and almost cinematic in its arrogance, because who else could pull off skipping the runway altogether and still dominate every headline? It's like everywhere. The tailoring was impeccable. The silhouettes were unapologetic, and every frame whispered. Gucci is no longer just a house, darlings. It's a production, okay? Was it genius? Was it audacious? Yes, darling. It was both. Fashion as performance art. Couture. 24 frames per second. Chef kiss. Now, on to a little tea, darlings. Of course, we can't look at this collection in isolation, because the elephant in the room, or should I say, the diva in the atelier, is the musical chairs of creative directors. When Demna leaves Balenciaga for Gucci, when Pier Paolo Piccioli takes Balenciaga thrones, when Jonathan Anderson claims Dior, and Louis Trotter reshapes Bottega, every stitch in Milan suddenly feels like a reaction, a recalibration. It doesn't matter if you are Prada or Armani, darling. The bar has shifted. Consistency must now be conviction, okay? Spectacle must be substance. And every editor in the room is watching with a sharper pen. Milan wasn't just a fashion week. It was a city negotiating its place in a new power game. Okay? Now, let's put the tea down. Let's get back to the champagne. Bottega Veneta. The whisper that echoes. Well, I say this because the antidote to Gucci's drama, Louis Trotter, she leaned into a quiet luxury with such conviction that the absence of noise became its own thunderclap. Now, that's my opinion. I do know that people were super excited about her collection. It was a beautiful collection, but it didn't have that wow factor I was looking for. The leather was so supple, it moved like fabric. Silhouettes so deceptively simple, they demanded your attention. Palette restrained to the point of monastic. Bottega doesn't seduce by screaming. It seduces by commanding you to lean in, darling. Whisper can echo louder than fireworks. And in a season of cinema and spectacle, Bottega reminded us that the finest power movement is an understatement. Versace! Of course, there was Versace. Glamour, glitter, bodycon, prints, bold enough to wake the dead. And all of it performed with confidence that made even the critics sigh. Yes, some said it was déjà vu, but darling, that's precisely the point. Versace is a chorus you come to hear. And when the house sings, they sing with such conviction, the repetition becomes richer. Fashion, after all, isn't only about innovation. Sometimes it's about reminding us what we secretly crave. And guys and dolls and girls, we crave for drama, seduction, and a touch of Donatella magic. But this time, it was more Diani than Donatella. Oh, say the shit. Okay. Prada came armed with its intellectual edge, pairing fabrics and forms in ways that made you question whether you were watching clothes or an essay in motion. Armani was timeless as ever. They deliver elegance in soft palettes and tailoring so fluid, it felt eternal. And then Dolce and Gabbana, darling, what a scene. The Sicilian fantasy was alive and well. Corsetry, lace, black veils, and that eternal celebration of La Dolce Vita. But the real drama wasn't just on the runway, darling. It was in the front row. Picture this. Anna Wintour, Queen of Vogue, sitting across the street, across the runway, none other than Meryl Streep, the woman who immortalized her icy aura on screen. It was like Vogue versus runway. For one electric moment, fiction and reality collapsed into each other, and Milan gave us a teaser of The Devil Wears Prada 2 live edition. Okay, people weren't even watching the model. They were craning their necks to watch the watchers, whispering, taking photos, pinching themselves. It was delicious. It was surreal. And possibly the greatest proof that fashion is not only about the clothes, darling. It's culture, theater, and the world's most glamorous soap opera all at once. Yes. Yes! Yes! And just for that little sparkle, the Champagne Award of Front Row with Audrey Charlize goes to Dolce & Gabbana. Yes. So, what did Milan tell us about the future? Tailoring is back, sharper and more architectural than before. Leather is no longer a material. It's like a religion, cut and sculpted until he behaves like cloth. Glamour is 90s inflected, but not nostalgic. It is calibrated, slimmer, shinier, smarter. Accessories are less decoration and more geometry. Bags that feels like building, shoes that sketch lines instead of screaming logo. And yes, darling, certainly was whispered here and there. But let's be honest, darling. Sometimes it feels more like poetry than policy. But still, intention matters, and intention was stitched in. However, faintly. So guys, did Milan dazzle? Yes, he did. Did he recycle? Also yes. But that's the Milan's genius. It lives in contradiction, thriving in its duality. A city staging dialogue between audacity and assurance, between cinema at Gucci and whispers at Bottega, between déjà vu at Versace and surreal theater at Dolce. Milan isn't asking us to choose. No, it's not. And it's daring us to embrace the whole messy and magnificent package with the creative director chessboard humming beneath it all. Every show felt like a part of a larger story, one that's only just beginning. So my darlings, you've been front row with me, Audrey Charlies. Subscribe, follow, and share. If Milan's drama gave you life, and darling, don't wander too far. Next week, we are heading to Paris, where the real musical chairs became the main act, the main ditch. Until then, my loves, stay chic, stay witty, and always keep your seat front row. Ciao.
Have you seen a girl so fine, so fine, so fine, so fine gone?